Greetings, dear students. In this session, we are going to concentrate on arithmetic mean. Measures of central tendency means averages. So you will be wondering, in fact, there are five different averages. An average or a measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within that set of data. The data may contains hundreds of observations, but we like to summarize that data in only one figure, and that is one of the different averages. As such, there are five averages. First is arithmetic mean, second geometric mean, third harmonic mean, fourth median, and fifth mode. Now, what are the criteria to conclude that whether a particular average is good or not? That average should be rigidly defined. There should be an explicit formula for the definition of that measure. It should be readily comprehensive, easily understandable, and further we should be able to calculate it quite easily. It is supposed that it should be based on all the observations. Further, we can perform some mathematical manipulations. It should not be affected by extreme values in data, if any. We should be able to find such measure for class intervals with open end classes also. It can be found for non-numeric data also. And along with an explicit formula, we should be able to find out by graphical method also. So in this session, we are going to concentrate on arithmetic mean. It is the most popular and well-known measure of central tendency. The concept is that add all the observations in a particular data, and this addition is to be divided by total number of observations in the data. This is the simple concept. If we have ungrouped data with smaller number of observations as x1, x2 until xn, then the arithmetic mean x bar is equal to summation xi, I running from 1 to n upon n, even briefly sigma x upon n. Suppose we have grouped the data in the form of frequencies. Here, suppose xi and fi, there are k number of classes, I from 1 to like this. So in this case, the arithmetic mean will be summation fi into xi, I from 1 to k divided by capital N. That is sigma f into x upon capital N, where capital N is summation fi, I from 1 to k, and that is nothing but total number of observations in the data. Consider one problem. Calculate for the following frequency distribution. You can see there are certain classes here. 6 classes are there: 0 to 10, 12 observations; 10 to 20, 18; 20 to 30, 27; 30 to 40, 20; 40 to 50, 17; and 50 to 60, 6. As such, we have been given so many observations. Addition of all the observations is 100. So this 100
has been distributed in six different classes, and this is frequency distribution. Such type of data is called as secondary data, and this has been definitely prepared from some raw or primary data. So this looks really wonderful, but simultaneously we are losing some information. We only know that out of 100 observations, there are 12 in the interval 0 to 10, but we are losing the information that we do not know which are those exact 12 observations. So we assume that these are equispaced in the corresponding class interval, and under that assumption, the arithmetic mean of these 12 observations will be nothing but the arithmetic mean of lower and upper limit. So 0 and 10 mid value is 5 as such. So this is going to be the assumption for all the class intervals, and we are having one more column as mid value. So 12 observations with mid average 5. So as such, addition of these 12 observations will be 12 into 5, that is 60. And here's the next column is fi into xi. As such, we find frequency into mid value for each class interval, and we have the addition arithmetic mean, that is x bar is equal to, for this grouped data, formula is summation fi into xi, I running from 1 to k divided by capital N. So this is 2800 divided by 10 and 28. 28 is the arithmetic mean of this data. Now see, we can even find the same thing in an easier way, but for that we have to see carefully the values of the x's, 5, 15, 25 as such. So these are six values. If there would have been odd figure, then what we have to do? We have to subtract that middlemost mid value from each value of x. But now here you can choose either 25 or 35. I'm choosing 25. So xi minus 25. If this much is considered, then yi will be having values minus 20, minus 10, 0, 10, 20, 30. So there is a gap of 10, so we are dividing by 10. So x equal to 5, y will be 5 minus 25 upon 10, that is minus 2 as such. Then minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, like this. For a while, let us forget x as, let us concentrate y and fi. So we have to find y bar. So the next column has to be fi into yi. 12 into minus 2 is minus 24. 18 into minus 1 is minus 18. 27 into 0 is 0. 20 into 1 is 20. 17 into 2 is 34. 6 into 3 is 18. So let us have addition. We can understand that here minus 18, this is going to cancel with plus 18 here as such. Then plus 24 is there. So that can be considered with minus 24 and plus 34. So that will be plus 10 and plus 20 as such. This is equal to 30. So y bar is equal to summation of fi into I running from 1 to k divided by capital N. So this will be equal to 30 divided by 100, and this is equal to 0.3. Now see relation between y and xi. Yi is equal to xi minus 25 upon 10, and therefore xi will be equal to 10 times yi plus 25, and we will be proving soon. After this, x bar is equal to 10 times y bar plus 25. As we have found y bar as 0.3, 10 into 0.3 is 3, 3 plus 25 is 28. So we have smartly found x bar by making change of origin and scale on the original variable x. Okay, we'll be discussing some problems in a set of four numbers. The first number is a, the second is twice the size of the first, the third is two more than three times size of the first, and fourth is five times the third. What is the mean of these four numbers? So quickly we'll be writing the four numbers are in terms of a. So first is a, second is twice the size of the first, so 2 into a. Third is 2 more than 3 times the size of the first, 3 times more than 2 more than 3 times, so 3 into a plus 2. And the fourth is 5 times the third, so third is 3a plus 2. As such, these are the four numbers, and therefore arithmetic mean, that is x bar is equal to, we know this is simply raw data, so it will be summation xi from 1 to n upon n is equal to 4 here, so this is 1 upon 4, and then here a plus 2a plus 3a plus 2 plus 10a plus 10, so this is equal to 1 by 4, so this is 6 plus 15 is 21a and plus 12, and as such this is equal to 21 by 4 times a plus 3, so this is the arithmetic mean. Next, the mean age of a combined group of men and women is 25 years. If the mean age of a group of men is 26 and that of a group of women is 21, then the percentage of men and women in the group respectively is, so let us find, let m and w be the number of men and women in the group. Women in the group. So what is the information we'll be writing, that the mean age of group of men is 26. Okay, and this the combined mean. So we must know the formula of combined mean. Suppose x bar c is the combined mean, and that must be equal to total, again total of the combined group divided by number of observations in the combined group. So it is given mean age of men is 26, so 26 into m number of men are there, so this is the addition of ages of this men, and the mean age of women is 21, so the addition of ages of women is 21 times w. So numerator is addition of all the ages and divided by number of people, so this is m plus w, and we are given that here 25. is the combined mean. 25u is equal to 26m plus 21w upon m plus w. We have to just simplify. This is 25m plus 25w is equal to 26m plus 21w. And as such, so this will be is equal to 26m minus 25m, that is m, and that is equal to 25w minus 21w, and therefore m upon w is equal to, so you can understand this will be 4 is to 1. So let us multiply this, therefore in percentage, the percentage of men and women in the group respectively is, now see, 4s to 1, so total is 5, so we have to multiply by 20. So 80% and 20%. So this is the answer. Next problem. In a class, there are 22 girls and 28 boys. If the arithmetic mean of height of girls is G and the arithmetic mean of height of boys is B, then what is the average height of the students in the class? Again, this is the problem on combined mean. So combined combined mean, that is x bar C. X bar C is equal to, here, 22 girls with height, average height G. So 22 into Z is the addition of heights of all the 22 girls. Similarly, 28 multiplied by B is the addition of heights of all the 28 boys, and therefore divided by total number of people. So 22 girls plus 28 boys, and this is equal to 22Z plus 28B divided by 15. This is the answer. Okay. Next problem here. The average wage of a male employee in a firm is rupees 520. Suppose this is daily wage, and that of a female is rupees 420. The mean salary of all the employees is rupees 500. Find the proportion of male and female employees. So here, let us call, let M and F be the number of males and females working in that firm. Okay, so we have been given average wage of male employees. So let us call this x bar m. X bar m is equal to 520, and that of female is 420. So x bar of female equal to 420, and the mean salary of the employees, so combined mean is equal to 500. find the proportion of male and females, and therefore we know the formula of combined mean x by c will be equal to, so it will be number of males into their average wage plus number of females into their average wage and divided by number of males plus number of females. Let us put all these values. So 500 is equal to, this is 520 into m plus 420 into f divided by m plus f, and therefore this is 500m plus 500f, this is equal to 520m plus 420f, and therefore here we can say 500 m f minus 420, so that will be 80 times f, and that is equal to 520 m minus 500, that is 20 m, and therefore ms to f is equal to, so it is 80f is equal to 20 m, and therefore proportion of male to female is 4:1. Therefore ms to f is equal to 4:1. Okay. The arithmetic mean of first 100 natural numbers. So x bar is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on until 100 divided by 100. And we know the formula, addition of first n natural numbers is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. So using this, so this will be is equal to 100 into 101 divided by 2, and that is again divided by 10. So as such it will be equal to, you can understand, we have to divide by 100. Okay, we have to divide by 100, and straight away it is equal to 50.5. Okay, so next problem, if a is equal to 2b equal to 4c is equal to 80, what is the arithmetic mean of a, B, C, and D in terms of phase? So again, arithmetic mean, that is x bar is equal to, this is raw data, so summation xi from 1 to n upon n, here n is equal to 4. So this is 1 upon 4, and see, first observation is A, and second is B. B is equal to A by 2. Third observation is C. A equal to 4 times C, so C is equal to A by 4, and last is D. A is equal to 8 dt, so this is A by 8. This is equal to 1 by 4, then A can be taken as common, so remaining part will be 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8. So we have to just simplify this. A by 4 times 8, and in numerator it will be 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, and this is equal to 12, 15 by 32a. So that is the answer. So A. Properties of arithmetic mean. The algebraic sum of the deviations of all the observations from their arithmetic mean is 0. So for raw data, if consider, actually if we prove for group raw data, that will be the general situation, but we'll be doing both. So raw data, then see, summation of xi minus x bar, algebraic sum I from 1 to n. So this, just let us try to simplify this. Separate summation xi from 1 to n minus summation of x bar I running from 1 to n. So summation xi from 1 to n, that is a sum of all the observations, that is nothing but number of observations into its arithmetic mean, because x bar is equal to summation xi upon n minus. Now you see x bar is a constant, can be taken outside this summation I from 1 to n, and inside only 1 is remaining. And in the next term, so it is n into x bar minus x bar times summation 1 I from 1 to n, means 1 plus 1 added n times, that is n into x bar is equal to 0. But if we see grouped data, that will be more justifiable. And in this case, we know xi and fi, so there are k number of groups, summation I from 1 to k, xi minus x bar has to be multiplied with fi. So this is equal to, again quickly, summation I from 1 to k, fi times xi minus summation I from 1 to k, fi times x bar. So this is equal to, again we know summation fi into xi from 1 to k is equal to capital N times x bar minus, now x bar is constant, into summation small fi I from 1 to k, and this is equal to capital N into x bar minus x bar into summation fi I from 1 to k, addition of all the frequencies, that is nothing but total number of observations, capital N. So that is equal to 0. Thus you may construct any data, you may consider any number of observations, this property will be always holding true. Second property, the sum of the squares of the deviations of all the observations is minimum when taken from the arithmetic mean. And for that, let us have this sum, let s is equal to, now this will be taken as group data, the more general situation. So what we have to do, sum, summation of space of divisions, so observation xi is there, minus some constant. This constant can be any finite real number, maybe 0, positive, negative, maybe x bar, anything. And then we have to square it. This must be multiplied with fi, and there are k number of classes, summation over I from 1 to k. Now we'll be using the theory of calculus, where to determine capital A, so such that this S, this entire expression has to be minimum. So let us differentiate this S partially with respect to A and equate to 0 to get the stationary point. This is summation Fi times I from 1 to k. So this is 2 into xi minus A into derivative of xi minus A partially with respect to A, that is equal to minus 1. So we can say this as further, minus 2 is constant, summation I from 1 to k fi times xi minus A. Now let us solve the equation del by s by del by A equal to 0. And therefore we can divide by minus 2 and we'll be getting ultimately summation fi times xi minus A I from 1 to k, this is equal to 0. Let us solve this quickly. This is summation fi into xi I from 1 to k is equal to, okay, I am taking at that side, really doesn't matter. So summation I from 1 to k, then fi cannot be taken outside, but a can be taken, and this is therefore this a is equal to summation fi xi I from 1 to k divided by summation fi I from 1 to k, that is capital N, and that is equal to x bar. So we have obtained the stationary point x bar, means at this point at capital A equal to x bar, S is going to take either minimum or maximum value. But what is that? For that, let us have the second derivative further. Double square S by double A square is equal to, so here from this equation star, from star, let us differentiate it again partially, so that will be minus 2, then summation I from 1 to k fi times 0 minus 1, and this is equal to minus 1 outside, so 2 into summation fi I from 1 to k, so 2 into capital N. Therefore double square is by double a square at the point a equal to x bar. Actually, the second derivative is twice into capital N. It is constant, so it is going to remain again the same. A capital N is total number of observations greater than 0. So as this second derivative at that point is positive, there there is minimum. Thus, thus, S attains minimum at a equal to x bar. So this is the conclusion, and thus the property is proved. So the purpose of this statement is that if you take the sum of squares of deviations of all the observations from any value, you find the minimum will be at a equal to x bar. So that is the minimum. We have made use of this property, change of origin and scales property, while solving the first problem. Now we are going to just prove it. So we have frequency distribution xi so x bar is equal to summation fi into I running from 1 to k divided by capital N. You know this. And the relation yi and yi equal to a some constant into xi plus b is another constant. So yi is obtained from xi from by making change of origin and scale both. Now we have to express y bar in terms of x bar. So here y bar is equal to again 1 upon capital N summation fi into yi, I running from 1 to k. So this is equal to 1 upon capital N summation I from 1 to k fi times yi is equal to a into xi plus b. So just simplify, so this will be equal to 1 upon capital N summation fi I from 1 to k, then a into xi plus 1 upon capital N summation I from 1 to k fi into b. So this is equal to, we know that a can be taken outside, remaining part is 1 upon capital N summation fi into xi I from 1 to k plus b outside 1 upon N summation of fi I from 1 to k. So this is equal to a times x bar plus b. So this is y bar, and that is the proof. Next property, if x I bar is the arithmetic mean of I group containing ni observations I from 1 to k, then the arithmetic mean of all the k groups combined together, combined mean x bar c is equal to summation ni into x bar I from 1 to k upon summation ni I from 1 to k. That is again very much obvious. So we say that as there are k groups, we are given that x bar I is the arithmetic mean of the ith group, and this I is equal to 1 to k. So this is given to us. So let us assume that xi1, xi2, and as such xi, then how many ni are the observations in the ith group, in the ith group. Okay, and therefore we can say this x bar I is equal to, this is x1 xi1 plus xi2 and so on xi ni divided by ni. So this will be 1 upon ni, and this is summation x I am calling z from 1 to ni. So this is very much logical as such. Now, therefore, what is the total of observations of observations in the ith group? That will be nothing but summation xij j from 1 to ni, and that is equal to ni times x bar I, and we have to take addition of all these, and thus directly I am going to claim now the combined mean x bar c is equal to, this is n1 x1 bar. So this is a sum of observation in first group, then n2 x2 bar will be sum of observation in the second group, and as such nk into xk bar will be the sum of all the observations in the eighth group divided by number of observations in first group plus number of observations in second group, and so on number of observations in kth group, and that is nothing but summation ni into x bar I from 1 to k divided by summation ni I from 1 to k. So nice. Let's see. So remaining easy properties, we have seen arithmetic mean is very much readily defined. Proper formula is there. It is easy to understand, and also easy to calculate, and it is the most famous. Actually, most of the people know this arithmetic mean as an average. It is based on all the observations. Yes, it is compatible for further mathematical treatments. The problem is that it cannot be found for open-end classes. What is meant by this? Suppose intervals. If we have class intervals and frequencies, suppose here up to 10, then 10 to 20, like that, and then 30 and above. So we can see here up to 10. So lower limit is not mentioned. 30 and above upper limit is not mentioned, so it is absolutely not possible to obtain mid values for such class intervals, and hence we cannot find arithmetic mean for open-end classes. We know that it cannot be found for qualitative data. Suppose I just want to know there are five persons wearing shirts of different colors, red, blue, black, pink, green, something like that. So what is the average of color? And not possible, and it cannot be found graphically. Thus, this is these are some of the drawbacks. Yes, a coin has two sides. The plus minus is always there. So there are some very nice positive sides of arithmetic mean called as merits or advantages on, and simultaneously there are some demerits or disadvantages also. So this was all about arithmetic mean. Thanks a lot.